Now, it seems like prices are going up on just about everything lately. Fuel, food, and a lot more, too. CBS 2's Jeff Nguyen is live in Burbank with what's driving those prices up and when we could get some relief, Jeff.
Well, Pat, one way to look at this is through this parking lot. For hours before the dinner time, most of the spots here were filled. The same could be said about the rest of this shopping center. Signs of increased demands for both goods and services. Courtney Rainier has been working for Instacart because of reduced hours at her freelance job during the pandemic. And she has faced sticker shock at grocery stores.
What I've noticed with our shopping and shopping for other customers and clients is the price has been going up.
It's across the country, from fruit to meat and paper products. The increases are nearly 10%.
We've seen prices in Southern California go up at least 15 days in a row.
Jeffrey Spring is with AAA. He says the panic buying on the East Coast has nothing to do with the local gas prices.
Usually prices start increasing in March or April when they switch over to from winter blend gasoline to summer blend gasoline, which increases the price per gallon about 10 to 12 cents.
They haven't healed the economy. They've overheated the economy.
Dr. Chris Thornburg is an economist who says stimulus money from the federal government and an improved job market has fueled increased demand that's outpaced the supply chain.
That's why good spending is above trend, right? Because, well, like I go to Disneyland, let's buy a camper. I mean, anybody tried to buy a bicycle last Christmas?
He says people who worked in hospitality were hit hard by the pandemic, but many others kept working without pay cuts like those seen during the Great Recession. Ruth Gregory, who's been working from home, actually saw her savings account grow.
Because I've been spending less on clothes and gas and going out, restaurants and stuff.
And Dr. Thornburg says what we are seeing right now will likely cool off, and it's also important for the Federal Reserve to pull back on injecting more cash into an economy that has plenty of job openings to prevent long-term inflation.
Shalom, Kahala Yahweh, Bashim Yahshai, Bashim Rukwadash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, who are the house of David reborn again in this generation. The Shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, who before losing their true heritage were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the coming inflation and the rising of prices of everyday goods and how that's biblical. But let's read this first. This is Ecclesiastes 9 and 12. For every man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in an evil net, and as the birds that are caught in the snare. So are the sons of men snared in an evil time, when it falleth suddenly upon them. Right? And that's what's happening right now in the world economy, namely here in America, which biblically is known as Babylon the Great. You see, we are living in the last days of the last days, right? And we are fast approaching Armageddon, right? Which is World War III and all that calamity that follows it, according to the book of Revelations. Now, in getting there, the world is going to go through turmoil, right? This is the prophecies in the Bible, right? And we know this secularly because we understand through the Bible that the wicked are in control of the world right now. That's what tells you in Job chapter 9 and 24, right? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Now the wicked is for the most part, through prophecy, it's now been revealed that they are the Caucasian race, right? Which biblically are the Edomites, right? Their own historic records reveal that they are also the Edomites. They themselves used to claim this at one point until this last century, where they started to distance themselves from that notion, because to be likened to the Edomite nation, you're basically likening yourself to total damnation and destruction, right? This is why the Caucasian will try to beat every other race except for their true race, right? Which is the nation of Edom, which they undoubtedly are. Now, that being said, they have an agenda upon this earth to fulfill, right? And I'm not talking about your everyday, Joe and Judy, right? Who are your coworkers, your neighbors, people you may have known in, in your social, life. I'm talking about the 1%ers, the elites, the people who actually own the world, right? Those Caucasians, those Edomites at the very top, they have an agenda, and they're pushing their agenda through all the think tanks, the political groups, the governments, military organizations that they basically control. And we're seeing this as the COVID-19 lockdown, as the collapsing of economies, the rise of inflation, right? The destruction of governments, and the aggressional war right now taking place in Israel. All these things, plus so many more things that I'm just not going to get into. But everything that we're seeing in the world right now that's revolving around this chaos that we're constantly living through is basically is a result of the agenda that's being pushed from the very top. You see, all these different organizations all have their own part to perform. Now, this is known as compartmentalization, right? Where every group has their own specific job, and hence every specific group doesn't know what the other group is doing, and hence they don't know what the big picture is, right? The teachers of the school system here in Babylon the Great, they have a job to teach the kids that they raise, the children, right, a particular curriculum, right? And that is so that way they could then make obedient workers for the system at large. Now, they don't understand that. They think that they have to teach them certain things, but they're not privy to the entire picture, right? And so goes it for the current agenda that's being pushed right now, which we are seeing, which is going to ultimately lead to a new world order, a one world religion, the microchipping of all the people upon the face of the earth. Well, at least the devil's going to try to do that according to Revelations 13 and 16, but he's going to fail, right? He's not going to get the 144,000 elect and the 1/3 of Israel, meaning 1 out of every 3 Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians. Now, I said all that to say this: all those agendas that are being pushed from all around you are all culminating into an evil time, which we are coming upon. Okay, these are the evil times that are going to suddenly fall upon the world. Now, a lot of the world is not going to be ready for this, and they're going to fall by the wayside, and they're going to be taken by the devil. The beast is going to get them. The beast is going to get your loved ones, your friends, your co-workers, the people who basically did not wake up to this truth that the Lord did not select to be saved because something they did, or they simply just were rejected. Now, that being said, if you're following this truth, if you're actually understanding what's going on, then you have been blessed to have this knowledge, right? And in doing so, continue in your journey, right? Continue in your path, and understand that a lot of the people around you aren't going to make it. They're going to fall for things like that news clip just showed, right? The rising inflation. Now, they're trying hard here in Babylon to say that the inflation that we're seeing now with the lumber, the price of electrical cable, for example, that's another thing that's going like crazy. You're going to find that all resources and building materials are going to first rise in price, and then you're going to see consumer goods rise in price, right? So this means that you're going to see rises in milk, eggs, things that you need to build for your house, low-level supplies. That's going to all go up, and eventually maybe 6 months to a year down the road, we're going to see that price, jump up in consumer goods, right? Clothing, cars, anything that is made to be sold to the consumer will basically jump up. Now we're seeing a bit of that now, but that's because of things, a year or two ago, they started raising up in price, right? But now it's starting to become more evident. Right? This is 2nd Ezra 6:22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be empty. Right? And this was a prophecy that the angel Uriel told to Ezra of some of the signs of what the events would entail during the end days, right? What would actually happen, right? Well, we're starting to see this now, right? Where you're starting to see supply starting to dwindle, right? And this eventually is going to get a lot worse because one, people just aren't going to be buying these things, right? And because people aren't going to be buying the overpriced items, then these manufacturers, the people who sell these things and get them to the market, are simply going to stop making them because they're not going to want to lose any more money. And that then is going to create a cycle, right? Which eventually is going to lead to scarcity in the market. And people just aren't going to be able to go to the store and buy whatever they want. They're going to be able to only be able to pick what is in the store because, again, you're going to have supermarkets. Farmers are going to be planting certain foods that aren't, profitable. So like it says, man, it says, suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, right? And sown doesn't necessarily mean like gardens and farmland and stuff like that. It means any place where you buy things that you need to survive, right? So we're going to start seeing a reduction in goods here in Babylon the Great, America, right? Because again, we are now going through a dark, evil time that the world is, being caught up in, right? But again, this is not for you, Akim and Akwathium out there to worry about, right? The Lord has got your back. Now all you have to do is focus on this truth, and in doing so, you also have to focus on watching out for yourself, right? Get a little extra of things that you need here and there, right? But understand that the Lord got this, right? You got to have faith in that, right? Now, that being said, people out there, like I said a little while ago, they're going to be caught up in this, right? People don't think that this is coming. They think that this is all going to blow away, right? They don't take into consideration what the market has been like for the last decade, right? They don't understand that we're now going into the third depression, I guess, right? Remember you had the 2000, it was, what is it, like the 1989 what is it, loan and saving debacle that happened that destroyed the markets. Then you had the 2008 housing market, 2003 internet bubble collapse, and the 2008 housing market bubble collapse, and then what we're about to see right now is going to be the debt collapse, man. Basically, the inflation coming to the world is going to be a result of all the debt that has been built up, that the Fed can no longer, basically get the Americans out of it, because again, they've lowered the interest rates down to zero, right? And they're talking about, making negative interest rates, but that ain't going to work, not for long at least. But again, this is ultimately what's going to happen. This is 2nd Ezra 16:21. Behold, vitriol shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case, right? And that's talking about how you could go out right now to Walmart and buy yourself a bunch of things that you might want for good prices. Right now it's going to look up a little bit, but for still, you still got selection, you still got things you could buy. But people see that and they equate things being in the store now as being in a good state, right? They don't understand that the market has been built to where it's going to get things to the market, as long as all the wheels are turning on the machine. But once the gas prices start becoming unattainable, once the truckers go on strike, once the jobs market, fails, right? People stop coming into work because it's not worth the money they're getting paid, because inflation has gone through the roof, and the dollars that you're getting paid isn't worth it. Once that starts happening, then this whole system is going to collapse, right? Because this American Babylonian system is a very delicate thing that basically only works because the Lord wanted to. But now the Lord has, like it tells you, that He has broken the scepter of the rulers and the scepter and the staff of the rulers, man. So we're going to see the result of that, right? Continuing. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Right? And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. Right? So we are in the beginning of sorrows, as it tells you in the book of Matthew. Right? We're starting to see these last prophecies starting to come to light. Right? And this ultimately is going to lead to a very evil time, like I said in the beginning of this lesson. Right? So again, Akim, you need to start preparing, for the inevitable, right? What the prophecy writes. So again, get a little extra food here and there that you can. Prepare to start being without. Now, just like me, we've all been going through this whole C-19 lockdown, so we understand what it's like to be without, right? Without going places, without talking to certain people, right? And also because we've been in this truth, the Lord has separated us from the world. He has made us holy, right? Because that's what holy ultimately means, is to be separated, right? So again, focus on this truth, study more, right? Pray more, right? And ask the Lord to help get you through this, right? So, I know this was a small lesson, but hopefully this video was edifying, Akim. So until the next time, I want to give all praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, B'Shem Ruach Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom.